Are you thinking about buying or selling a home, or are a real estate professional and want to keep up with the latest Twin Cities real estate news, stats, and trends? Come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. For everybody watching online, glad to have you here, and those listening, always please make sure you like and subscribe, and check us out online as well at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you'll find our great publications, the BRIX report, the free home buyer and seller guides. Those are really great resources out there. You know, I talk to people about, hey, this is put together by a bunch of real estate professionals, brokers, agents, loan officers, inspectors that have helped put their thoughts and advice into these guides. And they're so good, we actually were able to get them certified for continuing education for realtors out there, right? That they really do provide value. And I know with those classes that I teach, I have lifelong real estate professionals. They come out of that class and go, wow, I actually got something out of these, right? So those guides, they're the real thing. Check them out. They're free. Right. The Smart Home Buyer, the Smart Seller. Download them again at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. Today, we're going to talk about why it is the best time to buy. You know, when I came up with that title, I'm going to actually be doing a short video about this too. The first thing that came to mind were the old commercials back in the 80s and 90s, like, come on down, it's a great day to buy a car. We got the, the clowns and the hot dogs, all of that. And I like, the cheesy car salesman thing. It's like, why am I saying it's a great time to buy when interest rates are at 7.5%? Well, we're going to deep dive into why it actually is, and why for buyers that have been sitting on the fence, or for those who are like, I'm just going to wait until next spring, how there might be a $30,000+ differential between now and the next couple months versus 5-6 months from now.
Okay.
We're going to deep dive into that. But first, I want to talk a bit about where the market currently stands, right, with our data that's out there. Things are slowing down a bit. Part of the reason why it is creating this possibility of a good time to buy. So right now we have new listings down year over year, but up week over week. So actually we saw one of the faster weeks this last week, 1,400 new listings coming on in the Twin Cities area. That's up 30 listings over the week before. That's kind of odd, though. Normally we're not seeing new listings going up at this time of year.
Right.
The other thing that's interesting is even with the new listings going up, that the showings per listing also went up, right? And usually you see those move away from each other, right? That as listings go down, as inventory gets tighter, that the showings per listing goes up. We actually saw an injection into the marketplace of about 500 more showings last week over the previous. Another thing that we don't normally see this time of year, this summer has been an interesting one in our market. Normally, we go into stable market range right around 4th of July. And it looked like we were on path to do that. And then it's like the market kind of said, nope, we're not ready to slow down that much. And we didn't hit stable market range until just about a week ago. So coming out of buyer's market into stable market. Normally, this time of year, we're getting towards the bottom of stable market and possibly into buyer's market coming into September, October timeline.
It's kind of backwards.
It is.
Yeah.
And all of that has to do with inventory levels out there. And so I'm saying all these things. And again, the title of the show, why is it the best time to buy when we have tight inventory, high interest rates? Market meter, as mentioned, we are moving into stable market range. So it's gone from a 5.98 down to a 5.68. But with that jump in the showings per listing, it's possible we actually see the market meter bounce back up and could actually go back into seller's market. Not, I don't think long term, but maybe just for a week or two.
Right.
So that's another very kind of odd stat to see at this time of year, especially with rates, right? And what can you explain about why rates? I mean, we were down almost at 6%-ish back in March, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, totally. It's hard to wrap your brain around it, right? It is, because if you look back in October of last year when we were sitting at 9% inflation, and the rates today are a little bit higher than we were sitting at that inflation war, right?
Yeah.
I call it an inflation war. Now it's totally different logistics where we're fighting the debt ceiling, right? With that being said, the treasuries, the market's under so much stress, the rates are staying higher than what we all anticipated.
Yeah.
Right? If you follow the market, we all thought rates would have come down by now, right? So
yeah, everything was, the predictions were second half of the year that we would see rates ease.
And I do think that's
Still.
Still a prediction.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But ultimately, most consumers that are wanting to purchase a home or sell, they're conscious of the rates. They get that, right? And it obviously is slowing down the market, but there's still people out there that know rates are higher than normal. They're going to have a chance to lower that rate when rates come back down with a refinance.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen the resiliency of buyers, especially in the Twin Cities market, of digesting, our payment might be higher, quite a bit higher than it was 2 years ago with rates, but they need to buy a house for whatever they're got going on, and play the refinance game in 3-4 years down the road, and
Heck, it could be one year, it could be nine months. Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, but you want to plan long term.
Well, and the data is showing. I mean, look at what we have seen. Rates have been, between 6.99 and 7.5 over the last couple weeks, and we actually saw an injection of buyers into the market.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, why? Why would this happen? Again, we're going to deep dive into that. Why it actually is a good time as we're looking at that. But yeah, it's the numbers are showing that buyers are okay with it. And a lot of it too is the buyers that are there today just weren't ready to be in the market at that time, and maybe they're wishing they were, but you can never change the past on
exactly.
that. And as we say, rent is 100% interest.
That is for sure.
Yep.
Big time. And rents are going up,
Yeah.
right? I mean, rents are high just like everything else. So if you can start building that equity out of the gates, you're just setting yourself up for your financial future.
Well, I know I got into a conversation yesterday with a great younger agent who is very up on what is happening in the Twin Cities market, and we were talking about affordability, and I said, really what has happened is it's the locations have just changed. You can still find the affordable first-time home buyer houses. They're just not where they were 4 or 5 years ago. Just like the homes 4 or 5 years ago were not the same as 4 or 5 years before that, right?
Correct.
It's a moving target, and you have to set your appropriate expectations on where you might be looking. So when we come back from commercial break, we're going to deep dive into some of the tactics and techniques and the reasoning behind why it is the best time to buy out there. Again, check us out online, Twin Cities Real Estate Show.com. Download our free guides. Give us your questions and show suggestions. We'll be right back. Kirk Duckwall here again with the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, and James Tufson with the Preserve Group.
When shopping for a mortgage, there is a formula to get the best rate. With the market today, knowing this formula is more important than ever. My name is Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage. I have over 20 years experience in the mortgage industry and in home buying education. I'd like to share this useful tool with you to help you shop for your mortgage. You can find me at chadpriebe.com or call me at 651-207-9274.
Hello, my name is James Topson with the Preserve Group. Anyone can sell you insurance. However, is it going to be the insurance you need? When life surprises pop up, you want the right coverage. When it comes time to find or renew your policy, give me a call. I would love to review your existing policy and show you what I can do for you. You can email me at james@mypreservegroup.com or give me a call at 651-728-4334.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
People always ask realtors, what is your commission? But what they should be asking is, what is your rate of return? Commissions only vary by a couple of percent from agent to agent. However, the price per square foot you get just based on their experience and the quality of marketing they use can vary by 10% or more. At BRIX Real Estate, our agents use the right marketing and have the experience to get you top dollar for your house. See what we can do for you at BRIXTwinCities.com. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. You know, I'm such a jerk. I didn't intro you
get
guys.
excited.
Yeah,
I know.
I
get it.
Yeah. So we have Ben Greilanger. Thank you for coming in today.
For sure.
And Chad Priebe.
Yeah,
Bell
good seeing
Bank.
everybody.
Yes. It has been a while. We need
feels
to
like
we
it.
need to get back the schedule rolling again.
Yes.
You know, summer.
Get a little busy and
Yes. Oh my gosh, I had a crazy busy July. Eight sold 8 houses. Yeah.
It's huge.
August has been good for me for wrapping stuff up, and
I just got one today too. Just
Yeah.
heard on my way here. So
Good work.
excited about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's amazing how work can take you away from
yeah.
playtime.
Well,
gotta pay the bills.
Yes.
it's,
yes.
you know, a lot of people think, wow, those realtors, they got it easy. All they can do is sit back on their computer and sell a house.
No. They
Make a
think we're
couple
out
phone
showing
calls.
houses, and that's all we do.
Yeah.
We show houses.
2 houses and there's $10,000 check. It's like, well, there's a little bit more to it.
Right. Yeah, just a little bit.
Little bit.
A little bit.
So, why is it the best time to buy? Why is it, you know, my buyers are jumping and wanting to go out right now, right? Why should a buyer be considering maybe move now instead of waiting till spring? You know, I know a lot of people, they have leases. My leases. I'm going to say, if there's any way you can figure out how to, you know, exit your lease early, this could easily save you $30,000. If you look at the dynamics that are lining themselves up, I mean, it is even more. You could actually see the 2021 trend coming. You know, I was looking back in December of 2020. It's like, this is going to get crazy, right? Crazy spring. I'm now seeing what's the craziness that it looks like that's going to happen for this next spring now. And when we can see it this far in advance, I definitely, you know, take what we're saying pretty seriously. So why is it the best time? Well, right now, the big eye opener for me is we are at the lowest peak inventory that we've ever seen.
Super tight.
Yeah.
Right.
The lowest peak we've ever seen as far as the data, as far back as I have data that I can look at. It's the lowest amount of homes. Now, it's lowest peak. So yes, it's up from where we were earlier this spring, but if we look back at 2021, there were more homes on the market at the peak time of year, which was a crazy market, right?
Yeah, insane.
So we're setting ourselves up for the lowest inventory coming into December, January, February, which is the accelerator months. That's the months where the market can go crazy.
Right.
And we even had a hot year this spring. This spring was, you know, things were clipping along. There were multiple offers. We're setting ourselves up for potentially another 2021 strength.
Crazy spring.
Spring.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, you couple a little bit lower interest rates with low inventory, and we're going to have exactly what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I see of this going one of two ways. One is we see rates drop off this fall, which could create actually a pretty competitive late fall market, which then brings inventory even lower, which then creates for an even crazier spring market.
Yep.
Or rates stay high, and it still goes into the spring market with really low inventory, and buyers, like we were discussing in the last segment, are becoming more tolerant of the rate environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're not going to see. I mean, rates have held listings back this past summer, just because people don't want to forego their lower rate and have to buy at 7%.
Right.
So yeah, it would be interesting if rates continue for another year at this level, how that would affect new listings coming on the market, because push comes to shove, sometimes people have to move, and you might see some listings, but you're not going to see the voluntary listings coming on.
No, we haven't seen that.
So-
Basically that ended last summer.
Yeah.
Right.
So it could be a very low inventory potential
Mm-hmm.
for next spring if rates don't change. And
Right. So for sellers listening out there, if you can potentially find your home now and you are looking at possibly moving up, or that you go for a long close. We're going to talk about a strategy regarding long close here in a second, but and then go for that purchase or go for that sale when things get a little more built up, or if you have a temporary place you can go, you could really pick up some good percentages by selling or buying now and then selling either later this fall when things get more competitive, which it looks like they will, as inventory drops, or holding out until spring. You can see it. You can see that wave coming. Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna get crazy. So we're at peak inventory though, right? We're the lowest peak we've seen, but we're at peak, right? So for buyers out there, you're going to have the most to choose from. We've also seen our market shift from seller's market into stable market. I don't know if we're actually going to see it get into buyer's market range at all this year.
Okay.
We saw it very briefly last year. I don't think we're even going to hit it, right? Or there's a possibility if we do, it's going to be very short-lived.
Right.
And again, it's all inventory.
Yep.
Now, we have seen the median sale price drop below 100% now, and then you combine that with seller contributions in there, puts it into the mid-90s as far as percent received.
Okay.
This is the best environment buyers have seen all year,
Well,
basically.
and the month-over-month appreciation has plateaued.
Yes.
In a lot of areas where you're not seeing those 4 or 6% month-over-month, appreciation, or year-over-year.
Right.
That because that was just crazy and that was unstable. Where now it's like, okay,
We're zero. Yeah, we're basically zeroed out over
we've
2020.
plateaued
Yeah.
on value appreciation right now, and that means you're getting hopefully a pretty good value that's not going to have crazy competition.
Right. Now then the question would come up, well, why don't I just wait until after the crazy spring market for those that have the leases? Well, because then you're going to see that crazy appreciation.
Yeah.
So then you're going to pay that.
Pick back up again.
Yeah, it's going to pick back up again. So you have this opportunity where appreciation has ceased for a year.
Right.
I was honestly really hoping that would happen for about 2 years. It doesn't look like it's going to.
Right.
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 With inventory has put the kibosh on that.
Well, in the Midwest, right, we have the seasonal markets. And
Yeah.
what you're saying is if you play those right or you time those right, this is an opportunity, if you're listening, to pay close attention, because these are this is a good opportunity for you.
Well, I love the line. I heard it the other day on a phone call, which is, well, you never know what the market's going to do. And with the real estate market in Minnesota, yes, we do know what the market's going to do, because
Yeah.
it does the same thing every year. And then people, well, even like 2008, 2009, 12, yeah, values did drop off. Absolutely. But then they came back up in the spring and then back down in the fall. Right. Now, the market did lose money. Absolutely. That happened during those times of year. But the seasonal fluctuations of the up and down did the same thing. Right. And so what we're saying is we know it's going to get competitive in the spring and with where inventory is. Now, here's the big difference is, well, how do you know it's not going to go down? Well, in 2008, through 2012, we had 36,000 listings on the market, and right now, looking at inventory of homes, we have 7,975. That's probably going to go below 5,000 when we get into the spring market or fall winter market. Right. That's going to be crazy competitive. 36,000 listings. Yeah, our market could not tolerate that.
Well, and just think about this too. I think 40+% of homeowners across the country are equity rich. Right. So we see them rates come down. Those buy-up buyers, they're sitting on that equity. They have an opportunity then to use that equity for another down payment, a larger down payment. So I think you're onto something here.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So, really, we want to jump in. And last segment, I said $30,000 is what you could save. I kid you not. Look at the difference between the people that bought at the right times in 2021 versus the people that bought, let's say, at the wrong times. I hate to use that word, right?
Yeah.
Or were just pressured, right? We know that 30% of foreclosures right now are homes that were purchased at peak market in 2021 and 2022.
I believe that.
That's 30% of the foreclosures.
Because that's your $30,000-$40,000 difference, right?
Yeah.
In price.
And you just sometimes have people that have to move, as you mentioned. You have to move due to a job change, divorce, family change, whatever that might happen that they have to sell. And now it's gone and you had no appreciation, right? So being smart, buying at the right times makes a big difference. And same with selling at the right times. We know that you can easily pick up a 10% spread on the buy-sell if you time things out correctly. And when you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, 10% is no joke. I mean, people fight over 1% commission, 0.5% commission on selling. How about you hunt for where the real money is?
Right.
Yeah, I've always said to clients, like, if you're doing buy-sell, like, ideally, if you can buy in the fall, this August through October kind of range, and then sell in March, April kind of range. Like,
or even October, November purchase.
Yeah.
Then take the time to get your house ready and then sell in January, February. That's not that long a hold period, especially since your first payment's not for almost 2 months after you purchase the home.
Yeah.
Right? You can make some serious cash. I just had the I want to sell as is conversation with a client, and we looked at the differential, $100,000 spread selling it as is.
What?
And they're like, well, we don't want the stress of having to figure everything out. And I said, you don't need to worry about it. I've got the crews.
Yeah.
I know what colors we're going to do the walls. I know what colors to do the carpet, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff can be deferred till closing for costs, right? $100,000 difference. I had one earlier this year, $60,000 difference, right? Timing, prep, all of that makes a big difference out there.
Well, and there's companies that'll just come in for someone like that, right?
Yeah.
That's not being advised correctly.
Well, it's hitting the easy button, right?
Well,
People go
yeah.
for the easy button.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is sometimes doing the work actually isn't really any harder than the easy button.
And you're talking $100,000. Oh my God, that's a lot of money.
I mean, I've dealt with, $100+ million worth of real estate in my career, right?
Right.
I know when the good times to sell, when the good times to buy, when you see that data that's out there to take advantage of the things to do to maximize. It's you want to make sure you're getting good advice out there when you're doing this. Okay, back to the topic at hand though. I want to talk about another way. We have these rates, 7.5% right now, but we know, what have we seen so far this year? We've seen rates go up to 7.25%, come back down into,
Mid sixes.
Mid sixes. Yeah, perfect way to put it, right?
Yep.
Then back up again, 7.25%, 7 and a third, back down into the mid sixes. It's done this almost 4 or 5 times now this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So for the buyer out there, you have this ability to negotiate in the market. It's not as competitive. Why not do a 90-day close and don't lock your rate right now? Float it.
Yeah.
We've kind of, we've had this conversation about terminal rate. We keep hitting the same peak and coming back down. Keep hitting the same peak, come back down.
Right.
Right. When you hit the cue ball off of the bumper in the same spot, it tends to do the same thing. Right. So we're seeing it's because of the economic data that's coming out. They're just kind of playing off of each other.
Exactly.
And so you go for that 90-day closing, hold on the lock. When you see it drop back below 7, there's your opportunity, right? If you're being rate conscious out of there, right? Another smart tip to reduce your costs.
Well, that's where a good loan officer can really help guide what's going on in the big picture versus the local kind of economy. And
Well, I know we talked about this yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's that. I mean, that's very huge. You said that because that is so important. I can speak for myself personally, but I follow the market very closely. And you're right, Kirk. The ups and downs, those are important to pay attention to because you don't have to lock in your rate right away. There's situations where we want to lock it in right away. That's because we're sitting at the low.
Right, and we see an upcoming spike due
Yes.
to areas where the economic data the previous month, it's been trending a certain direction.
Yes.
There's prediction. Like there's ways we can look at this and go, okay, yeah, this is probably the time. You know, I know I had a client about a month ago, and I'm looking at all the data that's coming out, and he's like, should I lock? And it was he was just below 7, I think, somewhere right around there. And I'm like, yeah, it looks like that's a good idea. Now, look, we're at 7.5.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
but I also don't think we're going to stay at 7.5. You know?
I don't
His
either.
closing was coming up, so he had to make a decision.
Yep. One thing we got to keep our eye on.
And then the other thing, too, is lock, relock, right? You have
Yes.
the ability to do that, which means, okay, you see this opportunity, you can lock, and if a better opportunity presents itself, and I know
Correct.
not all banks do that.
No, it's not available across the board. Speak for Bell, if the rate goes down 0.375% or more after you locked, you can unlock and relock at that lower rate. If you guys have any questions on that, just let me know. But, you have to be working as a consumer. You have to be working with someone that's knowledgeable in the market, right? That's why we do these shows. It's that important. When you're talking $30,000, $40,000, that's a huge amount of money that you could even just reinvest back into the market and grow your money, right? So these are things that you have to take seriously because this is going to set you up for success. I know a lot of people, and I have a lot of clients that purchased 2 years ago in the absolute highest value points, right? Mm-hmm. And their rates were at 3.5%, let's say. You compare that to someone with a 7% rate, but paid $40,000 to $50,000 less for the house. You find that balance,
Well,
right?
the thing is you never can change the price you paid for the house.
Correct.
Right? But you can change your interest rate.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
And very important.
Right? That figuring that out. And I think what it comes down to is, I know we talk about this in our buyer classes, it's creating the plan, creating the roadmap.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? Treat it like you're planning for retirement because this
please.
is a big financial decision. You want that roadmap. Yes, I know it's supposed to be a fun process, right? It is fun buying a house. It is.
Yeah.
Right? But it is also can get emotional. Though you want to just make sure you're being smart. And that's why we call it the Smart Home Buyer Guide.
You're right.
Think about this. Plan about this. These are the biggest financial decisions.
Yeah, and I think just that idea of don't be at the mercy of the market, and know what you can control versus what you can't control. Like you're not going to control the Fed. They're going to do their thing. You can't control it.
No.
But plan around it. Plan seasonally for your real estate transactions because there are things you can control in the market and set yourself up for success.
Yeah, good point. I read an article where people actually spend more time researching the television that they're going to buy than the mortgage they're going to go with or looking at different properties.
Scared to have to buy another television because it's like there's all these new words and letters and numbers I don't even know.
4K.
4K. And
Yeah.
Wait, I think it's even is
ULD
it high? Is it higher than 4K now? I don't know.
I'm a little intimidated.
Okay.
But that television that you're doing all that research on is going to last, 5 years?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's gone and you're going to make another investment where your real estate investment's going to roll over and roll over and roll over.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we're coming to the end of our clock here, getting the wrap it up signals from over across the board.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. About that time.
all right. Ben, Chad, thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
Thank
Kirk.
you,
Thank you,
everybody,
Kirk.
for watching. Hopefully you got some good tidbits out of this. And please feel free to reach out with any questions that you have about the market if you're thinking about buying or selling. Happy to help answer those. All right. Have a good one. Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools and our free publications, to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.